Now, Biashara Limited, May 2016, question 2. Then Biashara Limited wishes to invest in stocks M and N. Question 1 is about international financial derivatives. So that is what we'll do next week. So wishes to invest in stocks M and N into different industries. Into different industries. The following information relates to the two stocks. We have the expected return of M and N, standard deviation, and the beta coefficient, and the amount of money invested. So if we invest 1.2 million in M, and we invest 800,000 in N, the total investment, can you look at it to be 2 million? So you can get the weight of M, 1.2 divided by 2, right? Weight of N, 800 divided by 2. Then for 4 marks, they want us to get the expected return of the portfolio. So how do we get the ERP? Summation of what? Not even the summation. Expected return of the portfolio equals to weighted expected returns. So weight of M times expected returns of M plus weight of N times expected returns of N. So weight of M is 1.2 million divided by 2 million. That is 0.6. Meaning the weight of N is 1 minus 0.6, ambayo ni 0. Ama ufanye 800 divided by 2 million. The same thing. So expected return of the portfolio, weight of N 0.6. We have the expected returns of N facing 18 plus 0.4 times 16. Ambayo ilionekana ni kazi kidogo kwa performance kulingana na vile tumezoea maswali. So 17.4. 17.2. Then part 2. Explain the effects of the portfolio risk if the returns of stocks M and N were perfectly positively correlated, include suitable calculations. When the returns are perfectly positively correlated, correlation coefficient is shiny where you can equals to, sometimes the balance I love still, and equals to +1. Perfectly positive, +1. Perfectly negative, -1. And if there's a perfect positive correlation, tulisema kwa such portfolio does not affect the risk. Right? Hiyo ndio kitu anataka tu tuseme for the 6 marks, alafu tu confirm kutumia kahesabu. Sasa hivi kama huko umesema for a perfectly positively correlated portfolio, for a perfectly positively correlated portfolio, correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient initially yake hiyo E. Tatumia E ama R tunaswap. Correlation coefficient is +1, is +1. +1. Continue by saying such portfolio does not lead to risk minimization. Such portfolio does not lead to risk minimization. So wanasema include suitable calculations, right? So let's get the portfolio risk. How do you get the portfolio risk? Standard deviation of what? The portfolio, right? Which equals to square root of the weight of. Sasa sasa tuko na M times variance of n. Give a standard deviation of n squared plus weight of n, right? Times variance of n plus 2 times weight of n times what? Correlation coefficient between m and n times standard deviation of m times standard deviation of n. Still, or C the covariance is the covariance of m. So let me have correlation coefficient because that's what we have. Correlation coefficient is positive 1. Still, do you have the weight of n? 0.6 squared. Standard deviation of m, I say 8 plus your weighting again is 0.4 squared. Standard deviation of n, 6 squared plus 2 times 0.6 times 0.4 times correlation coefficient is 1 times standard deviation of 8 and what? And 6. So we have a calculator. In your calculator, tupate square root yake tuone. Seven point. That's the square root. 7.2%. Right? Then you say when compared with weighted standard deviation, when compared with weighted standard deviation. So what if we just weight them separate directly without having them as a portfolio? So the weighted standard deviation, weight of m times the standard deviation of m. So having the weight of m of 0.6, but the standard deviation of m of how much? Of 8. Plus weight of n 0.4, standard deviation of m negative 6. What do you have there? You still get 7.2. So without having it as a portfolio, it is 7.2. When you have it as a portfolio, it's still 7.2. So it has not affected the risk. And I think among the differences between CAPM and the portfolio theory in NISEMA, standard deviation of the portfolio is never a weighted average unless the correlation coefficient is perfectly positive. That's how. So kama wangefunza hii story, wametuambia correlation coefficient is positive 1. Then wanatuambia calculate the portfolio risk. We can now use this. Only for this case, when the correlation coefficient is positive what? 1. That's how. Yeah. Portfolio beta is always a weighted beta, but the standard deviation of the portfolio is never a weighted unless the correlation coefficient is perfectly positive. That's how. Standard deviation of the portfolio, formula value. The only time you can apply this is when the correlation coefficient is positive what? 1. That's how. Na ikiwa negative 1, tujaribu confirm, clarify kitu hapa. Ikiwa negative 1, sasa itakuwa minus. Meaning, ukifanya hii hesabu yako, all this will be a negative. Because hapa ni minus. So hii mbele itakuwa minus, right? Eventually, this thing will be less. And we are happy when the standard deviation is low, because the risk is minimized. So perfectly negative, it will reduce the risk. That's how. So we are happy when it's perfectly negative, but we are not happy when it's perfectly positive. Na hiyo ingine part B. Part B siko direct. Or I think iko direct. Mapeni Limited. Hiyo zinangana na Majas, alafu ikuje 5 months, portfolio inakuja 20 months. Labda ni ina. Mapeni Investment Fund comprises 4 major projects. The details of the project are as follows. Kuna project 1, 4, market value of the funds as a percentage. Market value of funds as a percentage. Can you have them? Can we appreciate that those are weights? Siata hii ni value yake kama percentage 60%. Na hii ni value ya AN kama percentage 40%. Sindio? As long as we can add total yake to 100%. So that we now convert it into a decimal. So here I represent the weights. The weight of project 1, 2, 3, and 4 units. 8 plus 17 plus 31 plus 24, you get 100. It should be 100. So only weights. We have the expected return, standard deviation, coefficient of correlation with the market. RF is 5% and the market return is 14%. Standard deviation of the market return is 13%. For 4 marks, the beta coefficient of the investment fund. Investment fund is when they put all the 4 projects together, studying the beta of the portfolio. Portfolio. How do you get beta portfolio? Equals to weighted what? Weighted beta. So weight of 1 times beta of 1, weight of 2 times beta of 2. So how do we get particular price of betas? So let us get the project. Let us get the project and also to part the beta of that project. Like now, 1 equals to. So how do we get the beta of an asset? Show where you can. And you need to put my portfolio another India next week. And next week is the bigger. I think it should have next week. If you can, when you reach next week, there's again next week. At least when you say next week, you'll say next week at the plan. Beta of security. Covariance. Covariance between 1 and M. Then the rule of working with Yamazaka and Zabongas, the general standard deviation. So divided by what? Variance of the market, right? Or or correlation between 1 and the market. You multiply by
standard deviation
of 1.
Then divide by standard deviation.
Divided by the standard deviation of n. So I can use one of the 2 formulas from the information provided in the question. Do you use the first one or the second?
Second.
Remember correlations here. So therefore, beta correlation of 1 and the market is standard deviation of 1 over standard deviation of the market. Here. So tunaanza na project 1. Do you have the data of project 1? Correlation of 1 and the market 0.55 times standard deviation of 1 15 divided by standard deviation of the market
13.
Tumepewa 13. Ndio. As divide by, it doesn't cause any confusion. Here it causes confusion. Ni sana hapa. Kama upendi hizo hesabu ya primary na secondary, weka tu hapo chini divide by. Sawa. Haya. Do you have the bet? 0.63. So 0.63. What was projecting? Correlation with the market? 0.75. Standard deviation project is 20. Divided by your market about 13. How much? 1.5. Project yet 1.5. So wake up one I see. Project ya tatu. Correlation with the market 0.8 for standard deviation of that project. 14 we divide by market ya 13. 0.9. So 0.90. Then project 4 correlation is 0.62 times 18 divided by what? Divided by 13. 0.86. Now wait, siliconazo. So weight of 1 is 0.28, weight of 2 is 0.17, weight of 3 is 0.31, and weight of 4 0.4. So I can get the beta of the portfolio 0.28 times 0.63 plus 0.17 times 1.15 plus 0.31 times 0.9, then plus 0.28 times what? 2 more times 0.86. $0.86. Then the beta of the portfolio. Then finally for the 6 marks, by comparing the expected return and the required return, advise whether Mapeni should change the composition of its portfolio as happen for decision making. And remember, they're not asking about the assets or the projects that are efficient, super efficient, or inefficient. The question is about the portfolio at large. You'll only change it if it is inefficient. You'll only come in for a change if this portfolio is not doing well. When the portfolio is not doing well, there's a portfolio that is overvalued or inefficient. So let's find out if this portfolio is super efficient, inefficient, or efficient. Do you have the expected return of the portfolio? Expected return of the portfolio, Gabi? So we compare expected return of the portfolio with the SML. So we have the SML. RF plus RM minus RF times what? The delta. I repeat, we're not looking at a single each project. You're looking at the entire portfolio now. Whether we should change the composition of our portfolio, now we're bringing all those projects together. So we need the SML of the portfolio. We have the RF, and we have the RN, and we have the beta. So sio tupate kwanza. RF ni ngapi? Nakumbuke ni SML of the portfolio. Are you saying 5? RF, I think 14 minus 5 times 0.86. What is our SML? How much? 12.74. Then can we have the expected return of the portfolio? Summation of what? The expected return is the weighted, right? So the weighted expected returns. Do you have the expected returns of each project? For now, here. So you have the weight of one, is it 0.28 with an expected return of what? Of 10. Plus 0.17 expected return of 18. Then 0.31 with an expected return of 15. And finally 0.24 with an expected return of 13. What is the expected return of the portfolio? Thirteen point 13.663. Greater than SML or less than SML? Mkubwa kwa SML. Sindio? So it's greater than 12.74. Super or inefficient? Super or in? It is super, right? It is promising a return that is above the SML. So come on, for super, do you change the composition of your portfolio? Your portfolio is doing well, right? Your portfolio is doing well. So you just make a statement and you say, advice whether Mapeni. So advice, Mapeni Limited should not change portfolio composition. Mapeni Limited should not change portfolio composition since it is super efficient. Since it is super efficient. Since it is super efficient. I think that is okay. So you can go to mergers. Mergers and acquisition. Mergers and acquisition. What is a merger? What is a merger? And which is an acquisition? Acquisition is by and merger. The way I'm doing my hands, and I bring them together. So I've marked this and this into one separate company, or A plus B becomes A. When I'm merging or when I'm acquiring. When I'm acquiring, A plus B becomes A, I'm a C. And when I'm merging, A plus B becomes C. So when two companies are coming together as a merger, they form a completely different company, right? But acquiring, a superior company takes over an inferior company. Inferior company loses its identity and becomes part of the superior company. So if A is acquiring B, will no longer have A, but now it have B, a bigger B, right? But a merger, mostly with the mergers ni kama zinakaribiana ki operations. So they come together to form a completely different company. So we are going to have some summary just to ensure that the topic flows, because I know you have the notes. So please, even after us discussing, pitia notes. Pitia notes. So let's summarize. Say a merger refers to a combination stroke amalgamation. A merger refers to the combination stroke amalgamation of two or more companies into a completely different company. Into a completely different company. When acquisition is when a more superior company, acquisition is when a more superior company known as Predator, a more superior company known as Predator takes over an inferior company known as the target. We'll stop, continue by saying the target loses its identity. The target loses its identity and becomes part of the predator. The target loses its identity and becomes part of the predator. Great. So we need to know the types of mergers and acquisition. What are the types of mergers and acquisition you can think about? Zile umeziona. Moja ni this will now shine out of the rest. This kama umepitia hizo notes kwa leo. Kama umepitia kwanzia page ya mwisho kurudi nyuma. Hujafika page 1. Types of mergers and acquisition, one of them. Bana ni kama nataka kuangalia chini. I will not build any code. There's one called that difficult name. There's one called vertical. Na kama kuna vertical za gezi ingine kama non-vertical. Kama kuna vertical ingine na kwa horizontal. Si ndio? Alafu baada ya horizontal na vertical, sawa. Kuna ile ingine inaitwa conglomerate. Si ndio? Ndio ndio nataka kusema. Ndio ndio kwa mzito. Alafu ya mwisho congeneric. Si ndio? Congeneric. So we need to know them. We have the vertical, we have the horizontal, conglomerate, and congeneric. Now, just for the sake of the class, and maybe this can make it easier for you to understand them, vertical line ile imesimama, right? Now horizontal line ile imelala. Horizontal line, vertical line. What am I driving at here? A vertical merger is a merger between companies in the same line of production. Same line of production. A merger between a company that produces spare parts with a motor assembling company. A merger between one company whose finished goods are raw materials of another company. Sasa, a merger between Bamburi Cement and a construction company. Sasa, the intentions, the objectives of such kind of merger what? To ensure that there is that faster delivery of goods, cheaper production costs because now you're buying from yourself. And also to ensure that there is that constant supply of raw materials. Sasa, then horizontal is a merger between competitors. Same level of operation, same level of production. A merger between regional college and maybe any other college of CP you can think about. So that is the horizontal merger. Vertical, a merger between companies that are in the same line of production. A company that produces finished goods and raw materials for another company. Clear. Horizontal, a merger between competitors. What is the intention of horizontal merger? Most importantly, to eliminate competition. Yeah. And to ensure that you control the market and dictate the price. Yeah. Then of course, conglomerate. Conglomerate people in some new. A merger between companies that are not related at all. The concept of conglomerate merger explains portfolio theory. But portfolio theory perfectly negative correlated. Companies that have no relationship at all. The intention of conglomerate merger is diversification. To minimize the risk and to maximize the return. And of course, congeneric merger is mostly close to horizontal. Tofauti ni kuwa, for horizontal merger, there is a merger between companies that produce competing products. Same competing products. We are teaching CPA, another company is also teaching CPA. We merge. Congeneric merger is a merger between companies that produce substitute products serving the same purpose. We teach CPA, and there's another company that another school that teaches SCA. You know, both of them are accounting professional courses, right? But we come together because we offer competing products that serve substitute products basically, which serve the same purpose. A merger between a company that produces Milo is a different, right? And another company that produces probably Nesca. That is what? Congeneric. Itaka kufanana na horizontal. But if you're not very keen, you can define congeneric kama horizontal. I don't know if you're seeing that slight difference. Horizontal, strictly competitors, producing selling products. But congeneric, companies that produce substitute products which serve the same. Yeah. So hizo tunazimention tunajua tutapitia kwa notes. Kama ulikuwa na mkono mwepesi ukaandika sawa. Ni kama hujaandika siko kwa notes. Siko kwa notes. Na ziko tuna mahali pia zilitestiwa kwa past paper. Just to tell you that they are also tested. Then write for me something on valuation of the target farm. Valuation of the target farm. Valuation of the target farm. Then we say The following forms of valuation. The following forms of valuation are majorly used to calculate the value of the target farm, are mostly used to calculate the value of the target farm under mergers and acquisition. Calculate the value of the target farm under mergers and acquisition. So number one, price earnings. Price earnings into brackets based on P ratio method. So price earnings ratio method. Then I think we can recall even if it's not true. How do we get PE ratio? PE ratio equals to the price over earnings. Price over earnings here. So market price per share divided by what? Earnings per share. That is our PE ratio, market price per share divided by the earnings per share. Price over earnings. Price over earnings. So that is the formula when I'm using one share. That is the formula when I'm using one share. What if I'm using all the shares? Total market value. Total market value. And by the total market value, gain into market capitalization. So called market capitalization. Total market value divided by what? Total income. Total income, total earnings, or simply profit after tax. It can be the total income. Total income is on a total earnings, and is on the profit after tax. So hapa kama natumia share moja, the price of one share divided by the profit of one share. If I'm using all the shares, the total value divided by the total profit. And remember, valuation is about the price. So can you get the value of the farm? So NPS equals to PE ratio times what? The times earnings per share, unit price of one share still. What of the market value? Total market value will be equals to PE ratio times what? Times total. See total earnings, total income. Yeah. So valuation using the PE ratio method is here. The value of the farm. The value of the farm becomes the PE ratio times the total income. If I want to get the value of one share, it's when I do the PE ratio times the earnings per share. Whether you remember the formula of earnings per share? Or you accept it? Total earnings divided by the number of shares. Clear? Total earnings over the number of shares. Profit after tax, of course, and preference dividends from Matkonazo divided by the number of shares. Method ya pili kama hapo tuko sawa. Discounted cash flows method. Discounted cash flows method. Let me say it is used to calculate intrinsic value. It is used to calculate intrinsic value of the target farm. Intrinsic value of the target farm, which is simply the present value of expected, which is simply the present value of expected future cash flows. Which is simply the present value of expected future cash flows. Discounted using cost of capital. Present value of expected future cash flows discounted using cost of capital. Next point. Where cash flows grow, we must incorporate the growth rate. We must incorporate the growth rate. We'll stop continue the sentence by saying, in case the growth rate is not constant throughout, in case the growth rate is not constant throughout, we apply the concept of valuation of ordinary shares. We apply the concept of valuation of ordinary shares for a supernormal growth farm. The concept of valuation of ordinary shares for a supernormal growth farm. i.e. the intrinsic value shall be the total of two components. The intrinsic value shall be the total of two components. Work a full stops meaning number A, present value of expected cash flows. Present value of expected cash flows. Like now for the ordinary shares, our expected cash flows will be one. Up to the point of stability. Present value of expected cash flows into brackets B1 up to the point of stability. That tumwambie kuwa D1 equals to DO into 1 plus G. So we shall be looking for the D1. DO into 1 plus G. Then the second part, present value of the farm. Into brackets PO immediately after stability. Present value of the farm, that is PO immediately after stability. Present value of the farm, that is PO immediately after stability. And we know that PO equals to DO into 1 plus G over KE minus what? KE minus G. So I repeat myself. We shall borrow the same concept, like the way we are valuing the ordinary shares. If you are valuing the entire farm, then we shall replace our KE with the WS. That's borrowing the concept. Sasa, if you are valuing the entire farm and that farm has debt, then hatuwezi tumia KE na kuna debt, tutatumia the worker. Sasa, and of course tutatumia dividends, tutatumia profits. Sasa, so we are just borrowing the concept of valuation of ordinary shares. There's a sitting that valuation of ordinary shares was tested. Then we can remind ourselves on how to value the ordinary shares by looking at that question. And just a caution, this topic of mergers is a nice topic. It's definitely a question. I encourage it. That's an encouragement skill. Lakini yes, nienge question yangu. Lakini ni topic ambayo lazima upende topics zingine mbili. Upende hii. Hizo topics najua mnazipenda. Ya kwanza ni investment decisions na ya pili ni financing decisions. Because look at it. When I'm acquiring a company, so I'm making an investment decision. Because mergers basically is an investment decision that I'm making, right? Whether I'm coming together with another company through a merger or through an acquisition, it's a decision to invest that I'm making, right? So the concept of investment decision iko hapa. When I'm making an investment decision, I need the cost of capital. Cost of capital is equal to financing decisions. So kale ka concept ka huko nyuma, so kama unapendeza topics mbili, then hii ni bonus. Hii ni bonus. Sasa, so let's love the two topics. If you hate one of them, then this one is not yours. So for you to go into topics mbili. Usingependele upende hizo mbili so that uongezee hii. So that now hiyo GRB huko niko na 3 topics out of 5. Alafu weke bonus ya portfolio. Japo utakuwa 80%. So ushapata percentage tunatafuta wapi? Sasa tunatafuta wapi? Sababu pass tushapata. I'm very keen on my words by the way too. I don't know about you. Sisi kwa class tushapata. Na wewe mwenyewe bado unataka kusikia. Sawa, tuendelee kutafuta. Hiyo swali ilikuwa sitting gani? Tuangalie. Kuna kaswali mahali kamezungumzia intrinsic value per share. May 2019. Intrinsic value of the share. May 2019 to be good point. May 2019 question to be. ABC Limited, page 44. For those with numbers. May 2019 to board. Great. Now, ABC Limited is a company listed in the local securities exchange. The company is foreseeing a growth rate of 12% per annum in the next 2 years. So miaka mbili za kwanza 12%. The growth rate is likely to be 10% per annum for the third and fourth year. The next 2 years, 10%. I think supernormal. It's not stable still. Then it will stabilize at 8% per annum in perpetuity. So stability is coming in after how long? Is it after 4 years? first 2 years 12%, another 2 years 10%, then after that 8% forever. Yeah. So present value up to the point of stability. So present value of expected cash flows up to year 4. Then present value of the shares immediately after year. The latest dividend to be paid was 1.5 per share. D-O ama D1. Zote ziko na D. Latest dividend to be paid. D. Number 1. Unaambianga ni kwa sema 1 nikisema oh. Mbona tunateseka? D1 D-O. It has to be D-O. Most recent. Most recent ni D-O. D1 is next year. Expected still. D1 is next year's dividends, expected dividends. The required rate of return is 16%, the intrinsic value of the share of 4 marks. So, tuko na here, tunataka D1, which equals to D-O into 1 plus G. And because you're talking about present value, lazima tuweke hapa ni PVIF so that we get the present. So that we get the present value. Cost of capital is 16%, right? Kuna miaka mbili za kwanza. Tukianza mwaka wa kwanza, what is our deal? 1.7, growing at, can I say 1.12? So what is my D1? 1.68. 1.68, right? 1.68 is in year 2. So year 2 is 1.68. Still growing at 12%. D1 becomes 1.88. Those are the first 2 years. We have another 2 years. So for year 3 and year 4. So year 3 have 1.88. Growing at the rate of what? 10%. So 1.1. So your answer will now see change to avoid reduce rounding of errors. Don't be deleting ones afresh. Ya kwanza umefinya 1.5 times 1.12, you have your answer. Answer times 1.12, you get the next one. Then you get your that answer of yours times 1.1. You get how much? 2.07. So I have 2.07 still growing at 10%, so times 1.1. 2.28. So that is up to the point of stability. Then after that, I now need the second one. Immediately after stability, the big gap then is immediately. Immediately after 4 years is the beginning of year 5. But because cash flows always accrue at the end of the year, the value at the beginning of year 5 should be the same as the value at the end of year 4. And that's why hapa we take year 4 nyingine to represent 1st January will be year 5. Balance brought down is the balance carried down. Yeah, I cannot value it at the beginning of the year. We always value at the end of the year. So hapa niko na sasa nataka PO, which is PO into 1 plus G over 3E minus 1 minus G. Before beginning of year 5, most recent dividends needed. So I have 2.28, now growing at the rate of, after 4 years needing percent, so 1.08. Divided by cost of equity is at 16, 0.16 minus 0.08. So I want you to align it to this. I want to align it to this. So finya hapa unapata ngapi? As long as it's not syntax error, 15.31. So 15.31. Alafu niulize lump sum ama annuity. Ndio ndio swali mpenda. Mimi sasa swali mpenda. Consultation is allowed for 30.78 validation. Confirm calculator zile zinapeana nini? 30.78. Majority have their way. Now 15, kipinya tena dakika moja. You maintain your answer, you change your mind. $30.78. So back here, I'm starting to the fact I can very wrong. If you don't know your fail, just make sure God must be guaranteed. He go for brackets, don't let the use there. Because I can go there in 2.28 and 1.08 divide, but open the brackets, equal for brackets. I'll get my answer correctly without rounding off. Now, lump sum of annuity. Is it lump sum annuity or lump sum annuity? Ama ni mix. Gani ni lump sum, gani ni annuity? Ya mwisho ni? For how many years? Because annuity lazima uniambie kwa miaka ngapi. Si annuity ni annually kwa miaka ngapi? For 2 years. Is it for 2 years? So how much are you getting for 2 years? Infinity. Hakuna hapa mahali tumeweka infinity. Tumeweka tu hapo. Lakini mimi tuambia kwa swali. So here tuambia kwa swali ndio sababu tunawapa formula infinity. See formula inakuanga the constant growth rate forever, where G equals to constant forever to infinity. So the fixed rate of G to infinity is our formula. So by the time tunapata 30.78, to share discount tunapata present value as such here. So for the latter part of my knowledge, najua kwezi cash flow si annuity ni last. Let me ask this. See, wale jana waling'ang'ana, wale wa TV. In fact, at least hao walijiamini wakasema annuity ilikuwa chorus. Wao wamesema annuity kimwe chorus ndio. Na kama sisi tunasema annuity na damsa. So at least kuna moja kati ya ambazo ni correct. Anyway, can I say that I'm getting 1.68 annually? Because what do we want to discount? We want to discount this. 1.68 is an annual amount of one. It's a one in year 1. 1.88, I'm also getting it only once in year 2. Right? Even this 30.78, I'm only getting it once in year 4. Sababu sijasema year 4 to 8 ama year 4 to infinity, nimesema tu year 4. So it's a lump sum, right? It's a lump sum. kila mwaka umejisimamia, sio kweli? Na kama kila mwaka umejisimamia for 16% one year, tembo 1 tembo 2, tembo 1 sio 16% one year 0.86 to 1 year 2 7.4 3 year 3 6.4 0.7 year 4 5.5 to 3 year 5 in the year 5. So what is the intrinsic value? How much? 2.43. 2.43. Then check question 5 of the cell. Cell sitting question 5C. 5B. Cell sitting question 5B. Excellent limited. Excellent limited. So excellent limited. You're still strong enough. Especially when you get classes za 11 na nusu. Bado tuna uwezo mtaka dakika 5. Sawa. Haya. Tuangalie basi excellent. So ile ilikuwa intrinsic value ya baby class. Sasa tunataka kuapply kwa markers. Haya. Tumeambiwa kuwa excellent limited is considering acquiring best limited. So excellent is the predator or the target? Excellent is the predator snake. So excellent is considering acquiring best limited, the firm in the same industry in order to consolidate its market share. Horizontal or vertical? One of the above may be done multiple cases. Sijauliza what is the market. Nimetoka kwa conglomerate na kwa generic. Is it horizontal or vertical? Say horizontal, right? To consolidate our market share, we are bringing in a competitor. We are in the same industry. So, yeah. Unless nitasema kwa generic. They clarify. Sio. Anyway, so Best Limited has been less profitable, so it has paid an average of only 20% in taxes during the last several years. In addition, it has used little debt, having a debt ratio of 25%. So debt equal to 25%, equity number 75%. If the acquisition will be implemented, Excellent could operate Best Limited as a separate, wholly owned subsidiary. Like KCB and International. This will increase Excellent Limited's gearing ratio to 40%. So gearing it increased from 25% to 40%. The following is the forecasted financial data for Best Limited over the next 5 years. To consists operating costs, selling and admin costs, acceptable investment project costs. RF is 8% and debt is considered to be risk-free. Expected return of the market portfolio is 13%. That is our RF. The firm's level equity beta after acquisition is estimated to be 0.8. Bank or bed? She doesn't know. Bank or bed? So Mr. Money bed. And even after acquisition, are you having debt or you're not having debt? See, the debt gearing in increased 40%. So meaning after acquisition, bado tutakuwa na debt. So we need the bed. Right? Fortunately, examiner ametupa bed. I just want you to link ile kitu niliwaambia. Financing decision iko hapa. So ukipenda ile, there's a bonus here. Kwa hiyo tafadhali kama kuna zile kama wewe ndio mtu elimination method. Ile ushaniambia kuwa hii sitasoma. I can still get my 50 plus 1 by doing other topics. Okay, eliminate your financing decisions, then most likely unajinyorosha pia kwa margins. Eliminate investment decisions, most likely unajinyorosha pia kwa margins. So we still have like slightly tweaks for you to change your strategies new. If that was the strategy. So please careful. So fortunately, tunataka bei na wametupa bei. Kama wangetupa ba, singebidi tufanye ukarabati. Ndio ukarabati unapunguza. Kutumia the Amada model. Right? Because kama wangetupa ba na tuko na debt, hatungeweza kutumia hiyo ba calculate KE. That is true. Unfortunately, the examiner was generous. Akapeana bei ya 0.8. After 5 years, the net cash flows of Best Limited shall increase at a constant rate of 6% per annum in perpetuity. Are you seeing the same concept which we have? After 4 years, it increased 8% into perpetuity. So after 5 years, 6% into perpetuity, right? Tax is 30%. The firm's gross profit margin is 40%. Best Limited incurs fixed financing cost of 2 million per annum. The firm's equity shares and bonds are currently trading at par. For 10 months, determine the maximum price payable to acquire Best Limited using discounted free cash flow basis. Where do you start from? Now, working here kwanza. Have you get the cost of capital? The firm has debts. So let's not after the cost of capital. So let's have that as our first working. So workings, I need to get the WSCC, which equals to A plus WDKD adjusted for what? Adjusted for tax. The weight of debt. So amesema ni 0.4. Gearing may increase from 25% to 40%. So vile tumeambiwa. Right? So debt is 0.4, meaning equity is 0.6. KE RF plus RM minus RF times power of day. Times pay, kuna debt. Na hiyo pay tumepewa. RF is nothing. 8. RM 30 minus 8. Na pay ni ngapi? 0.8. So it's the KE. Right. Haya. KD wamesema ni that is considered to be risk free, even 8%. So what equal ngapi? Weight of equity 0.6 times 12 plus 0.4 times 8 adjusted for what? Adjusted for tax. What is our WSCC? How much? 8.4. 8.4. 4. Na tumeanza kueliminate hizo marks zetu. Any effort is rewarded. The next thing we need to do, we need to get our cash flows. Cash flows ni kutengeneza income statement. By the way, swali ya managers ikikuja kama hii inapanga 3 marks. Kuzi ni income statement. Income statement, sales minus variable cost together contribution less other expenses, blah blah blah. Income statement ya kawaida. Miaka yake ni ngapi hizo cash flows ni 5. So I have the year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. The cash flows are in millions. Do you have the sales? Sales year 1 is 50, year 2 is 60, year 3 75, year 4 30. 70 and 60. 5. 3. Right now, so I have the profit. What's profit margin? In a gross profit margin is not number 6. So can I get my gross profit? So gross profit at what percent? It's 40%. The normal income statement. How much we get for variable costs, we get less. So that we get the gross profit. Amount cost of sales. That's why variable cost in the contribution, no problem. Just apply what you've been given. As long as you're targeting to get the net. At the target, by the way, baada ya kupata profit after tax, siku evaluation tulitumia dividends. So tuna target kutafuta dividends. Sasa we are targeting to get the dividends. One step at a time. Let's see. So what is the gross profit in year 1? 20. In year 2, 24. Gross profit in year 3, 30. In year 4, 20, 28. In year 5, 26. Less hizo expenses zingine. kulikuwa na operating costs, ndio. So we are going to less operating costs. Year 1 ni ngapi? 5. Year 2 ni ngapi? 10. Year 3 15. 15, 15 and 12. Any other costs that we have? Selling and admin. So selling and admin costs. Year 1 how much? 10, 10, 8, 9. 10, 10, 8, 9, and 11. Any other cost? Your investment project cost income or retained earnings. We have fixed, not number 7 still. So you have fixed finance costs. So finance costs, fixed costs, fixed finance costs. Of how much kila mwaka? So 2 million per annum. 2 million per annum. Na nyingine kweli? Tumemaliza sio? So can we have our pre-tax cash flows? Year 1 is 20 minus 17. Year 2 is 24 minus 22. 2. Year 3 15 plus 10 is 25. 30 minus 25 is 5, right? Year nyingine 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 plus 15, 26. From 28 we have 2. In minyorosho unasema 12 plus 11, 23 plus 2, 25. We have 1. 1, ndio. Tunafaa less tax. So can I simply use the 0.7? So you can get the after tax, right? After tax cash flows 0.7. Badala ya kufanya less 30%, tulipata tena 70%. So I can go direct. So to go advanced level. Second advance. So this one becomes 2.1. Now later line equal to 70% of 2, 1.4 still. 70% of 5, 3.5. Is 1.4 and is 0.7. Then we less investment cost. Investment cost is one retained earnings. What you retain in the company for investment purposes. How much are you retaining in the first year? 0.5 still. In the first year, retain 0.5. In the second year, we retain how much? 0.7. Mwaka wa tatu tuta retain 1.6. Mwaka wa nne 1.2. Na kwa mwaka tuta retain 0.2. So we have our net cash flows. One minus 2.1 minus 0.5, 1.6. It is 0.7. 1.9. It is 0.2. Then 0.5. That's okay. Sasa ni discount hizo. Ndio unapata max 10. So tunaweza simamisha sasa. Vertical. We have the year, have our cash flows. We shall have our BVIF. Cost of capital departed 9.4, so that we can have the present value. The figures are in millions of shillings. Tuko na year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and we have another year 5. When they now stabilize to infinity. In year 1, tuko na cash flows na ngapi? 1.6. Year 2 tuko na ngapi? 0.7. Year 3 tuko na ngapi? 1.9. Year 4 0. Year 5 0.5. Sindio? Alafu after the 5 years, it stabilizes at 6% to infinity. So nataka ile concept ya nini tena? PO, which is PO into 1 plus G over KE minus G. But now I don't use KE, I use what? The wakaka. Kwa sababu ilikuwa na debt. Sasa, just borrowing this the concept. For example, 0.5 inagrona rate ya ngapi sasa? 6%. Cost of capital is 9.44. So 0.0944 minus 0.06. So what we have there? So I will try important. Mr. I Senegal 15 points. 10 points, something. 1. 10.4. Na sasa hiyo 9.44% tunaitoa wapi kwa table? Wezi struggle hivi alafu uweze kupata hiyo discount impact. Kama table kuna formula. Table may provide formula. So you don't even need to cram the formula. Just need to refer to the table. So 9.44% 1 year. 0.9. 0.9137. Nyorosha unasema kama una shida zinatoka wapi, pia unasema year 2 0.8349. Year 3 0.7629. Year 4
697.
6971. Year 5
360.
70. Kwa hiyo table kuna formula inasema 1 plus r raised power negative n. Ndio. Ama 1 over 1 plus r raised power n. So r yetu ni 0.0944. So you can use even this, you can use either. Can use either. 1 divided by 1.0944. 1 divided by 1.0944. Utapata ya kwanza, hiyo answer yangu na divide by 1.0944. Alafu naendelea na inputs. think that is okay, it's clear. So cumulative divide this one becomes our 10 marks. And our 10 marks of the maximum price payable to acquire best limited. So this one becomes value of best limited. You can only pay its value when you are acquiring it. The 4B of May 2016. Just write it down. Just put it down. May 2016 4B. Then 16 for all. Then let's give me an NB. Give me an NB. NB, then you say this. Two key formulas. Two key formulas are always involved. Two key formulas are always involved under mergers and acquisition. Two key formulas are always involved under mergers and acquisition. I.e., number one, maximum exchange ratio. Maximum exchange ratio, which equals to offer price of predator, offer price of predator divided by the market price per share of predator. So mergers iko tuna formulas mbili. Hizo zingine zote zinazunguka within around valuation ni investment decision and financing decisions. So we have the maximum exchange ratio is the offer price of predator divided by the MPS of the same predator. Then number two, non-dilution offer price of predator. Non-dilution offer price of predator. I'm going to explain what it represents. Non-dilution offer price of predator equals to pre-merger PE ratio of predator. Pre-merger PE ratio of predator times pre-merger earnings per share of target. So pre-merger PE ratio of the predator times the pre-merger earnings per share of the target. And by the way, this formula is bringing us value of a concept of valuation. The value of the firm is equal to PE ratio times earnings per share. There, NPS or the PE times the EPS, right? Then for that non-dilution, I just put a dash up and kuseme, this is used, this is applied where the predator does not expect. This is applied where the predator does not expect dilution of the combined earnings per share. Where the predator does not expect dilution of the combined earnings per share. So it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want the earnings per share after the acquisition to vary. Itakaibaki constant, to dilute is to make it quick. Ndio. So you don't want the dilution of earnings per share after the acquisition, that is the combined earnings per share. Now we use the non-dilution offer price. This non-dilution offer price ndio tutaitumia hapa. Kama tunataka the maximum exchange ratio if the firm does not expect dilution. Sasa, si tunataka the offer price. So if dilution is not expected, the offer price, we shall get it using this formula, the non-dilution offer price of the predator. So maybe you can do one question of that nature. It was tested last sitting again. The sitting before ours. Question 5C. Question 5C, the sitting before ours. Unit of 1 meter as given. I go for Pascal Alpha and Beta. Alpha and Beta Limited. That's the Great. Alpha Limited and Beta Limited are companies operating in the same line of business. The same line of business, right? In the recent past, Alpha Limited has experienced very stiff competition from Beta Limited, such that Alpha Limited is considering acquiring Beta in order to consolidate its market share. So who is the predator? Alpha is the predator still, and Beta becomes the target. The following financial data is available about the two firms: annual sales to Conaza the Alpha and Beta, net income, outstanding number of ordinary shares, earnings per share. By the way, did they really need to give you earnings per share? So you can get it. Because you know earnings per share of Alpha is it 150 divided by 50, which gives us the 3, right? Earnings per share of Beta 20 divided by 10, which gives us the 2. Alafu MPS wakatuambia ni 30 and 15 respectively. Both companies are in the 30% income tax bracket. Then for 2 marks only, maximum exchange ratio that Alpha Limited should agree to if it expects no dilution in its post-acquisition earnings per share. So the maximum exchange ratio. Tunamwambia kwa maximum exchange ratio equals to maximum exchange ratio equals to offer price of predator divided by what? Divided by the MPS of the same, right? MPS of predator. But now we don't need the normal offer price here. We now need what? The non-dilution offer price, right? Non-dilution offer price, which equals to what? Pre-merger PE ratio of who? Of predator times pre-merger earnings per share of who? Of targets. Still. Wacha niulize. Do you remember that PE ratio is MPS over EPS? That was the PE ratio. So hapa nataka MPS ya alpha na EPS ya alpha. That will give us the PE ratio of alpha. The alpha of predator metal. Then I multiply by what? The EPS of beta. Predator ni alpha, target ni nani? Beta. Ndio. MPS ya alpha ni ngapi? Are you saying 30? Earnings per share alpha? I saying 3. And the earnings per share of beta? 2. So is the non-dilution offer price. $20. Ndio. Na usipate 20% liquidator tushapata 2 months. Bado. 2 months ilitaka ni Mbona klasi ingine baadaye? Kama unaenda east. Yache maswali. Ngoja nione kama mwalimu ataingia. So maximum exchange ratio. The non-dilution offer price of 20 divided by the MPS of the predator varying at 30, 0.67. Now, that's okay. Just for interpretation purposes, ingoja tuambia to interpret. Just make a statement and say this. Hata before my statement kwanza nizungumzie inamaanisha kuwa as far as Alpha Limited is concerned, what is the offer in place? Alpha Limited is giving this offer that yes, we're acquiring you, and we are giving you 0.67 new shares for every 1 share that you have. So what is the ratio of exchange? For every share that you have in your own company, you will come in this new company and you will own how many shares? 0.67. So we are giving out 0.67 of our shares for every 1 share that you get. So just remember that beta will no longer exist, but alpha will exist. And this alpha while existing, it will absorb beta. And how will it absorb beta? By giving out some shares to the shareholders of beta. So, and how will it be giving, what will be the ratio of exchange? The ratio of exchange would be, for every 1 share that you have, we are giving out 0.67 shares. So, that's the interpretation of exchange ratio. How many shares for everyone that you had? 0.67. So let's make that statement to say this. Alpha Limited is offering 0.67 new shares. Alpha Limited is offering 0.67 new shares for every 1 share of Beta Limited. For every 1 share of Beta Limited. It's offering 0.67 new shares for every 1 share of Beta Limited. Is it too much work for 2 months? Ama tu wale wote tumezoea. Tumezoea kufinya max. Haya, tuangalie part 2. Tuangalie part 2 tunamaliza pili swali nawaambia happy Easter. Tumeona sura zishaanza kwenda. Now part B, Alpha Limited's post-acquisition earnings per share if the company agree on an offer price of 40. Sasa offer price imeacha kuwa na dilution. Sasa wamesema badala ya 20 tutumie ngapi? 40. Right? Now, they want us to get the post-acquisition earnings per share. Post-acquisition is when these firms are now combined. Ndio. Badala ya story mingi, hiyo unaweza ita combined what? Unaweza ita combined earnings per share. And to get the combined earnings per share, tunajua kwa earnings per share is the earnings over number of shares. Right? So combined EPS becomes combined earnings. Combined earnings divided by combined number of shares. Combined earnings divided by combined number of shares. Even to find the number of shares, we need first of all to go back and talk about maximum entry ratio, which equals to maximum exchange ratio of appraisal predator divided by what? Divided by MPS of the same predator. Wametuambia they've agreed on an offer price of pricing 40. Na MPS ya predator ni ngapi? 30. So this is a maximum exchange ratio. 0.4. 1.33. 1.33. Inamaanisha nini? For every 1 share of Beta Limited, Alpha will offer how many shares? 1.33. Sometimes I like us making those statements, it becomes easier for interpretation going forward. So you just make a statement and say, for every 1 share of Beta Limited, for every 1 share of Beta Limited, Alpha Limited is offering 1.33 new shares. Alpha Limited is offering 1.33 new shares. Hi. So can we have our combined earnings? Combined earnings ni ku-add tu. Baada hizo kampuni mbili kuja pamoja, earnings za Alpha ni ngapi? Are you saying 150? Alpha iko na earnings ya 150 ama income, ndio. Na Beta iko na income ya ngapi? 20. So our combined earnings becomes 170 million. Right? Then we need to get combined number of shares. Combined number of shares. This is the first question. So we'll go pole pole. We'll go to the baby steps. Tuanze na Alpha Limited. Alpha Limited. Shares the Alpha Limited. Shares the Alpha Limited as it happens. Nothing is happening to Alpha Limited. Everything is happening to Beta Limited. Ndio. So zile shares Alpha alikuwa nazo zitabaki intact ambazo ni ngapi? 50 million shares, right? na Beta Limited zake lazima zikuzwe, si ndio? And let me try this direct interpretation and direct application. Tunasema hivi, tunapeana 1.33 new shares for everyone. So that was the interpretation. 1.33 new shares for everyone that you had, out of a total of how many that you have? Out of a total of 10. And if the timing of that is wrong, yes, checking on cash ile, but then ile story tuko tunajiambia, if this one equals this, what about this? So if for every one existing shares, you get 1.33 new. How many new shares are we going to get out of the 10 million existing? That makes some sense. So the application is 10 divided by 1 times 10 divided by 1 times 1.33. So how many new shares are you bringing in? 13.3. So what is our combined number of shares? 63.3 million. So can we have the combined EPS? Combined earnings per share becomes the combined earnings of shillings 170 million divided by 63.3 million, giving us 2.69 million cancels out. And number 3. Number 3 tumeulizwa Alpha Limited's post-acquisition earnings per share if for every 200 ordinary shares of Beta Limited, if for every 200 ordinary shares of Beta Limited, they are exchanged for 5 units of 10% debentures of shillings 500 per value each. Now here, the ratio of exchange. Are you bringing in shares or you're bringing in debentures? Najitia dakika 10 peke yake naomba. Just 10 minutes then I wish you happy Easter. Don't wish you happy Easter. In 10 minutes we'll be done. Now, we are bringing in debentures. Ndio. Sasa hapa inasema kwa kila shares 200 ambazo mko nazo, tutawapea debentures ngapi? 5. When we bring in debentures, from the concept of earnings per share, interest itakuwa affected. Ndio. Na interest itakuwa affected, interest ina affect the profit. The profit before interest and tax will less the interest. So there will be an aspect of interest when we bring in the debentures. So in number 3, first of all, let us find out how much will be the interest. How much will be the interest? So you need to get combined earnings. We know that combined earnings is 150 plus 20, which is 170 million, right? In that 170 million, we are supposed to less after-tax interest. Why after-tax? Because of the tax effect of interest. The interest na panga tax allowable. So the ideal interest is the after-tax interest. Because these are profits lazima zipunguzwe na interest ni cost. It should reduce our profits. So there we come unless after-tax interest. Again, one step at a time. Tuanze na kutafuta the number of debentures. How many debentures are we offering for every 200 shares? We are offering 5 debentures. For how many shares? For 200 shares. Say that. So, out of how many shares that they had? Out of 10 million shares that they had. See that the number of debentures. Still, 5 debentures for every 200 shares. The shares wako nazo ni ngapi? 10 million. So this one gives us the number of debentures. Each debenture has a par value of
500.
I say 500. So each is 500. What will be the value of the debentures? How much? 1.5 million. But we don't need the value of the debentures, we need the interest. Can we have the interest? What is the interest rate? 10%. No. So interest becomes 10% of 120. Is it 12.5 million? Yeah. So can we get the after-tax interest? So that is 12.5 we adjust for what? For tax. 12.5 into 1 minus 0.3. So 12.5 times 0.7? How much? 8.75. So here inakuja hapa. So less hapa. 8.75. So how much is our net combined earnings? $161.25. So tuna 161.25. Hiyo ni milioni. What of the combined number of shares? From Alpha Limited, tuko na shares ngapi? They're gonna kutoka 50. And from Beta Limited, tuko na shares ngapi? Sometimes when you think you're doing very bad, you're doing poorly, and those are different numbers. That's why you're in class. It will make you know that how good bias are. How many shares will come in from Beta? Huh? How many? Only 0. Is it true? How now? Lakini tunasema hapa kwa exchange na nini? So are we giving them debentures or are we giving them shares? We're giving them debentures. So there'll be no new shares given to them. Get the difference? Ile ya kwanza, we were giving them shares. That's why number of shares ziliongezeka. Nothing affected our profit. There was no new interest. Sindio? Tukipeana preference shares, which are effective profits. It does have a preference dividends. Tukipeana ordinary shares, this is the case. Tukipeana debentures effect yake ni interest for earnings per share. So interest to share effect. But as we give them the debentures, then there will be no new shares coming in. So new shares will be 0. So that our combined number of shares is going up 50. So can we have our combined EPS? Combined earnings of 161.25 divided by 50. It looks like 3 points. 225. So 3.225. Inatumiza kitu na so mbili kwa max. Kama hizi ndio unasema after all it's only 2 marks. You can get this 2 marks elsewhere. Finally, if I finish my 10 years that I worked for, here finally najua you utashine. Finally, I know you will shine. Wanakuuliza upate the combined operating profit and the post acquisition earnings per share at the point of indifference between earnings of the firm under the financing plan C2 and C3 above. EBIT at the point of indifference. You remember anything of that nature? Or we exempted? EBIT at the point of indifference. Shine where you can. Has reached that time of earning some respect. EBIT. Nifanye kazi yangu sio. What is the point of indifference? Sometimes you just say point of indifference is just point of indifference. Point of indifference. It is the level of EBIT at which hata sijapeana leakage. Ni kama namchanganya zaidi. At point of indifference, EBIT of financing plan A equals to EBIT of financing plan B. So that is the point of indifference. The level of EBIT at which the earnings per share of 2 financing options is equal. Sindio? You remember the formula of earnings per share? Kianzia kwa EBIT. EBIT minus interest. Even as we do this currently, I hope you are seeing what I talked about. Solely ni mergers, lakini imetupeleka wapi? EBIT EPS analysis. Ndio. So ndio sababu nasema kama ulikuwa ile design ya elimination, then be very keen on what to eliminate. You can be eliminating 2 topics thinking it's one topic. That's how. So in simple terms, please don't eliminate. Or you'll just statement young. The point of indifference, it is the level of EBIT at which EPS of 2 financing options is equal. The level of EBIT at which EPS of 2 financing options is equal. That means EPS is EBIT minus interest, we are just got tax, we subtract preference dividends. We divide by what? Number of the ordinary shares. Ndio. So edit ndio tunatafuta. So we need to get the interest under the two options. The preference dividends kama tuko nazo, in our case hatuna, ndio. And the number of shares. So tuko hapa na ile ya required number 2 na required number 3. So vile wametuambia. So can we start regulating the interest? Under number 2, flashback to kidogo. Under number 2, tulikuwa tuna bring in the shares. Did we have any interest coming in? Not, we didn't have any interest in Alpha Limited. So under number 2, interest is 0. Right? Under number 3, how much is our interest? 12.5. Preference dividends are put as here. What of the number of shares? Under number 1, what is the combined number of shares? 63.3. Sindio. No book will give a combined number of shares? 50. So therefore, for the point of indifference, EBIT ndo hatuna, so tunaanza na EBIT. Kwa option ya kwanza, interest is 0. We adjust for tax. Do I need to less the preference dividends ambazo ni 0? I don't need. We divide by the number of shares ambazo ni ngapi? 63.3. Ndio. Will be equals to EPS of option hiyo nyingine. EBIT is what I'm looking for, minus interest of 12.5, right? We adjust for tax. We divide by 50. It's possible to work for EBIT, right? Work out for EBIT. Lokisha work out for EBIT, wanataka upate EPS. EPS ndio unatapata. You take your EBIT and you put in any of the two. Ndio. Unapata EPS. So maliza hiyo, then I think we can actually call it a day. One you can try at ile time utapata question 5C. Let's put it down for September 2021. 5C September 2021. There's another one in somewhere in 2018 ambayo iko na hiyo concept. And even have question 5. Question 5 of November 2019. And question 5, 5A and B. 5A and B. 2019, right? November, May. November, May. May. November 2019, question 5, A and B. Then hii nyingine stika utapata time ya kufanya yote, utapata time ya kufanya tu. We have several questions now you can handle. There's even question 4C. policy of November 2018. Policy of November 2018. Then May 2018, question 3. 3C. And have question 3A and C of May 2018. Here we on a concept. And May 2018.